Hi, it's Simon. Today is Saturday, the 16th of March, and we've actually got some lovely sunshine today, so that makes things quite nice. It's the weekend. So today is also the 25th birthday of the Metro newspaper, and for those who've never been to London or haven't been to London in the last 20 years, the Metro newspaper is a free newspaper that started up, as you can tell, in 1999. Um, and you'd recognise it if you saw the bins in London that used to hold the paper copy of the newspaper, um, with the Metro name across the front. It paid for itself with its advertising. It was a fairly neutral newspaper as far as I could tell, um, and it was generally sort of directed at Londoners, especially Londoners who commuted. So these papers were distributed to public transport hubs and underground stations and mainline stations in London, um, and you used to find them littered all over the carriages of the London Underground. Um, and there was obviously a big clear up every day, and all the papers would go to recycling and what have you, but it's recycling. Um, More recently, I say more recently, probably at least 10 years, they've had an app. Um, Now, I used to subscribe to the Times and Sunday Times newspaper. I'd had a look at various broadsheet newspapers, the paper copies of them, to see which ones had the sort of content I was interested in. And the Times was a big newspaper, especially the Sunday editions. They're absolutely huge. If you get the paper copy, they're really heavy. Um, and I thought this was great. There was, even though there was a lot of content I wasn't interested in, fashion and food and stuff like that, but there was plenty for me to be interested in, technology and transport and stuff like that. But I became disillusioned with the Times and the Sunday Times because they used to run editorials, and it wasn't just one editor giving you his opinion on the current news. There was probably a dozen of them, and every single one of them was opinionated. I know that's their job, but they just held this belief that their opinion was the only one that mattered, and it used to wind me up. So I cancelled my subscription, especially when I found out that the Metro was free and I could get it electronically. I could download it on the app every day. Weekdays only, admittedly. They didn't run through the weekends. And they used to shut down for a couple of weeks at Christmas, which is fair because their customer base, if you like, were commuters in London predominantly. So if they're not travelling to work over the holiday period, what's the point in running the newspaper? Because their advertisers wouldn't want to advertise during that period anyway. Um, so for some years now, I've been reading the Metro, and it's got and always has had things which annoy me, and there'd be things which would annoy other people as well. Stuff I like might annoy other people, but not me. But that's beside the point. But I've noticed recently that their content has changed. They shut down completely during the COVID pandemic because obviously no one was traveling, so their traveling audience disappeared. So they chose to stop publishing for the period of the COVID pandemic. And when they came back, they revamped the style of the newspaper, and it went from a pretty standard newspaper format where you had a front page and then different stories in each of the following pages. They changed the format to one that's like, for instance, the Daily Mail. If you go on the Daily Mail website, which is really, it's an acquired taste. They tend to go for the outlandish in the way of stories. So, but if you go there, you'll see that it is all articles, small articles that they've picked up from here, there, and everywhere. And more often than not, by the time they get into the Metro, they're out of date. They're the previous day. And recently they've stopped bothering to edit them. So it will say there was a huge building fire in West London today, and they're talking about yesterday. It didn't get into the paper until today, but they're actually talking about yesterday when they say today. And I was quite amused to see the article they had in today's newspaper, and they do run over the weekend now, but they just literally put the articles into the paper without any editorial control or anything by the look of it. So you're just picking up stuff that they're picking up on. But today's article about their 25th birthday was actually dated today, so it was not out of date, which was funny, but I suppose expected. They probably planned to put it in. But the other thing is, they are definitely leaning towards a particular type of content which isn't mainstream anymore. Yes, they pick up on big stories from politics, from war and various industries, but vast majority of their content is about celebrities, and especially at the weekends, they post numerous articles about what's happening in the various soap operas. Yeah, people are interested in soap operas, but they're a small minority of people, because soap operas are rubbish, I mean, I haven't watched a soap opera since I was in my 30s, I suppose, and I only watched them then because my wife watched them. And she's not around anymore, thankfully. And they talk about celebrities. Now, I know I don't follow popular music anymore. Not interested in the latest music. Most of it is, I wouldn't say it's rubbish, but it's not music in my opinion. So I don't know who half these people are. But what really, really winds me up is when the Metro refers to people as icons, stars. They're not. Just because you've been on a reality show doesn't make you a star. And just because you've been on a mainstream program on TV doesn't make you an icon. There are icons in television and film. And it's not these people that they're talking about here. And it's like they have the same definition for celebrity as Celebrity Big Brother and Celebrity Get Me Out of Here or whatever it's called. It's just people who have appeared on television at some point. It might have been in the background or whatever, but they're just not celebrities in my opinion. And more their content is going that way. And it's just not interesting anymore. But the trouble is, it's free. So I don't watch mainstream TV anymore. There's very rarely anything I want to watch. And if I do want it, I will buy it on iTunes or Apple TV or whatever they call it. I don't want to pay for a TV license to watch rubbish, so I don't. Consequently, I don't see the news. And as you know, my opinion about what you see and hear on YouTube is a bit unreliable, to say the least. So I'm reliant on the Metro to tell me the latest news, and in the hope that they're concerned about being sued if they say something that's not true. So I am stuck with it, but then I complain about everything. That's the way I am. But it's Sunday tomorrow, and Sundays I say I'm going to post something positive, not something negative. So I will see you tomorrow. Bye.